You can see with me tonight, Caroline Crampton from the New Statesman and BuzzFeed's political reporter Siraj Datoo. Welcome to both of you. Welcome back, actually, I should say. Let's just pick up on the red lines theme, first of all. Caroline, what do you make of these red lines and how solidly drawn do you think they are?
I wonder whether they're solidly drawn at all, in fact. I think, as we saw in 2010, both the Conservatives and the Liberal Democrats had elements in their manifesto indicating that they weren't interested in coalition, and look what happened after that. So I think it could all change on Friday the 8th. But I think what we heard today was, for the lack of other sort of campaign news, politicians feel like they have to fill the space with something, and this is what they chose today.
Siraj, what was your take on the debate today, following obviously last night's quizzing by the various members of the public in Leeds?
Well, I think it's interesting. Well, the Liberal Democrats 5 years ago, since then, they broke the pledge on tuition fees, but even then they've continued to say the things that we had on the front page of our manifesto, we stuck by them. And I think the Lib Dems are trying to, plant their flag and say, actually, education, spending for education and spending for health is really important for us. And if we're going to do a coalition with anyone, that's, they're going to have to agree to that first. And I think that with Nick Clegg, and the Liberal Democrats, they've learned a lot over the last 5 years. They've lost a lot of support because of promises they made and didn't keep. And I think this time it'll be very difficult for them to turn their backs on the electorate again.
And those two red lines that he's highlighted, as you say, spending on health and education, does that, in your estimation, both of you, leave him room to go in either direction if the opportunity were to arise? I
think it does. I mean, all parties, not even just the three major ones, have put the NHS at the centre of their campaigns. So I don't think that would be an issue if you were to...
Differences on funding at the moment.
Differences on funding, but I think those are the kind of details that could sort of slip in and out of focus depending on the electoral arithmetic. Education too. I don't think you could find a politician anywhere in this country, let alone the world, who would say that education wasn't a priority or important. So it's quite a safe red line, if that's such a thing.
And David Cameron, of course, last night, Siraj, talked about the EU referendum, which he's always been pretty clear about, but that for him now is an absolute red line. Somebody who joins the Conservatives, if that situation were to arise, has got to agree to that, he says.
Yeah, that's what, and he said that again today when he was speaking in ASDA. And the Liberal Democrats have said that they will refuse a coalition if there's an EU referendum on the table. So that's going to...
I don't think they've quite made it a red line yet. They've kind of hinted at it.
Yeah, well, I think this is one of the things that it is. I think we're going to hear it again and again. Was that a red line or just one of the things that we said was important to us, and we'll really try and stick to our guns on that. But I think there's a lot of people, a lot of MPs or candidates right now in the Liberal Democrats who will be very against the idea of having an EU referendum. And
and a word on Labour SNP today, Caroline.
Yes, so Ed Miliband making clearer than ever in the Question Time event last night that he wouldn't be going into any kind of coalition, formal or otherwise, with Nicola Sturgeon. As we saw in that roundup just then, she's got an excellent comeback to that, which is, what do you mean, you want a Tory government then? And he hasn't really answered that.
OK, well, we may hear from him, as I say, live in Glasgow in the